Hi guys, and welcome back. Thank you so much for stopping by. Welcome, my name is Aiden. I'm so happy that you're here. It's been a while since I've done a 30 and 30. They take so much work. There's a lot that goes into them. So I'm kind of doing a 30 and 30 of sorts, but instead of making sure I haven't talked about any of these 30 perfumes before, I kind of just grabbed 30 perfumes that I was feeling and wanted to wear. So I'm going to just take you through them quite quickly. I'm not going to talk about notes necessarily. I will try to have some of the keynotes here, or I will list them down below. That might work better. Anyway, I just wanted to show you what I wore, kind of give you an idea of why I wore it. I mean, it's been summer, so it's been hot, and that's why I wore a lot of these, and just kind of walk you through them. I'm not going to go super in depth or anything. Just kind of one gives you a peek at my collection, and two, just for fun. Before I get started, let me know what scents you have been loving and wearing. I would love to know what you have been wearing, and let me know how you're doing as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. So first up, I wore Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue. Summer vibes. I love the packaging on this one. I think they did such a good job, and I really like the scent of this one as well. It has a lot of the classic light blue DNA, but it has a little bit more sweetness to it, I feel, with that peach, and it's just uplifting and summery and nice and sweet, but also tart and refreshing. So that was the first one. I absolutely love that one. Then we moved on to something that's a little bit more rare. I feel like this is Ariana Grande Sweet Like Candy limited edition. I think that's all of the words that it needs. And I have the original one of this too. This smells completely different. I like this one so much more. Yeah, this one is fruity. It's not as sweet, but it has sweetness to it. But it smells kind of like a tart fruit punch. I really love this one. So Ariana Grande limited edition. Then, let's see, where did we go next? I think we went here. I'm trying to remember the order that I put them in my bag. Next up, oh, I should leave the lid on it. We have Jimmy Choo Floral. And this one is interesting. This has a nectarine note in it. At first sniff, it smells a little peppery, and I don't love that. But then after that initial 30 seconds or so, it settles down into this beautiful fruity floral with a prominent droop note. Nectarine, just a little bit more sour than a peach. Oh my gosh, this is so good. I would love to spray myself down with this again, but I already put perfume on today. So that was my next perfume that I wore. Then we went a little bit more bougie. I wore my Tom Ford Mandarino di Amalfi Aqua. So this is one that I picked up at Ulta. This is not as expensive as the original one, but it's light, it's refreshing. It has, this one is probably the most unisex of all of the ones that I've had thus far. It has a little bit of greenness in there, but that mandarin comes through really lovely. I think there's some vetiver in there too. Oh, this one smells so good too. As you can tell, I have been reaching for kind of light, fruity, tart in a lot of ways as well, because you just want the tartness. Then we have this little guy. This is Island Fantasy, I believe. Festive Fantasy from Britney Spears. And this might be my favorite of all of the fantasies. It smells like a pina colada to me, with maybe some guava or passion fruit or something. It smells very, very tropical. That's why I think I always want to call it Island Fantasy. But I love this one. I think this one is so good, and it's one of my favorites. Next up, we have Cherie by Kate Spade. This one is a cherry forward fragrance. Is it my favorite? No, but oh my gosh. It does have that really bright artificial cherry note to it. So if you're looking for something with an artificial cherry note, this is really going to be what you're going to look for. But all of these are really good for the summer, for the heat. I think a lot of these could be worn in the spring or even in the winter too, not maybe the Mandarino or what have you. But there's a lightness to them that really makes them good for summer heat. Next up we have Kenzie, and this is Berry Beauty Oh, and mine has a big scratch in the back. I don't like that at all. I wonder where that came from. So this one I got because of the strawberries on it. That was basically it. This smells kind of cheap. Not as rich as the other ones. It's more sweet, not quite as well blended. But it does have that nice fruitiness to it that the other ones have had that we've talked about. But so far, my least favorite of the ones that we're talking about. Then we went with Barbie. The reason I wore Barbie is because on this day, the Barbie truck was in town, and my mom and I went to the Barbie little truck and bought a couple things. We didn't buy a lot, but bought a couple things, and I wanted to wear my Barbie perfume. I wore my Barbie shirt that day too. This one reminds me a lot of My Way, which I know other people have talked about too, but it's like that tuberose is very strong in here. It doesn't have like, it smells almost grapey in a little bit of a way as well. So I like it. It's not my favorite. If I was going to go with a Barbie, I would probably go with Zara, just because the Zara has that prominent marshmallow that I really love. But this one is a nice one as well. Then we did Zara Red Temptation Summer. This one, you know, I have quite a dent in here for a Zara fragrance, and I got this one last year, so that tells you that too. Yeah, this one is nice. It has like a zestiness to it, a fruitiness that's like uplifting and citrusy, but still has that sweetness to it. It doesn't smell like Baccarat to me or any of the dupes. I'm not a big fan of Red Temptation itself, but I really like this flanker of it. Then we have this little guy. This is Jo Malone Tangy Rhubarb Cologne. And I love the jars on these, first off. And they did, I don't know, they were based on little jam jars. This one has very little sweetness to it. It is just very much a bright, sour scent. And I really like it. If you like rhubarb, you will like it. But it is definitely, leans more unisex than some of these other ones. Next up, we have this guy from Victoria's Secret. This is Very Sexy Now. And I was like, I don't know what to do with this scent. I picked it up. I thought it smelled good. It smells tropical, that's for sure. But I picked it up at the winter sale for Victoria's Secret, which was not like the best time to buy it. It's nice. It's sweet. It has like maybe a little bit of tropical floral in it, but also maybe like guava or passion fruit somewhere, something in there. There's a sweetness in it as well. So I like it. Is it a love? No. Next up, we have Lime Sands from Skylar. This is another one that I picked up last year, and I love it. This is the closest to Coconut Lime Verbena from Bath & Body Works that I have found, but it has a little bit of saltiness to it, which I don't love that. The salt and sand is my least favorite about it, but it does have that bright kind of coconutty limeness to it. And it's nice. I really like it. But I wish Bath & Body Works would bring back Coconut Lime Verbena, like the original one. This has more lime in it than the current iteration of the hand soap. We had a cooler day, so I decided to do Prada Paradox one day, and I wanted something vanilla and comforting, and that's what this one afforded. The bottle is kind of awkward because you have to store it on its side, but it's so pretty. Oh my gosh. It reminds me of Alien in some ways because you get that jasmine and that vanilla, but this is so much, probably more universal, so much sweeter, so much lighter, so much younger. So yes, I do enjoy it. It is a nice one. Then we have Q from Dolce & Gabbana. This is Q Intense actually. And I love this one so much more than the original one. I have a small one of the original one, and I was so disappointed that there wasn't that cherry in it. I couldn't really get the cherry. And this one is so cherry forward, much more cherry in it than in the original one. So I like this one so much more. This is the one, if you want a cherry, I would get this one. You still get that lemon and lime like to it, and there's a little bit of like a green undercurrent, but this one I love so much more than the original one, and would have worn this every day if I wasn't like trying to do this experiment. Valentino, Donna, Born in Roma. This is the Coral Fantasy, and I love this one. I like Yellow Dream too. I really like all of them, except Green Extravaganza is my least favorite, but I haven't worn it as much as the other ones. This one is pretty. It has some of the DNA of Born in Roma, but it has that lightness and summeriness to it with those fruits that they have in there. It's much more wearable for the summer than the original one. So yes, Coral Fantasy is a good one. All right, moving on to our second case. First up, we have Mugler, or Theory Mugler, Angel Ice Star. This one is so good, and I'm so sad that they got rid of it. Like, why? You do get like the patchouli and like the darkness to it, but this is such a good gourmand. It has that pina colada feel. It's so addictive. Like, I wore this and then I was craving to wear it like every day. But I did it because I was trying to do this. But this is so good. If you can find this for a decent price, this is one that I would highly recommend because it is so good. Then I decided to wear one of my philosophies. This is the Pure Grace Endless Summer. I'm using the lotion for this currently, so that's why I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to use the perfume one day. I'm going to be using my other summer one here shortly, but I'm not going to take the perfume with me to camp. This is pretty. It's kind of airy. It has a greenness to it. It's just all right. It's not my favorite. I feel like it definitely does have the philosophy DNA to it, which they're okay. They're not like super exciting or anything, but they're kind of just nice light scents. This is one I've been obsessed with. This is Mood Ring by Phlur, and I was so excited when I finally got this. I smelled it in store and they didn't have any, and I was like, of course you don't have any. It's gummy bears. And it's just like this sweet kind of, not particularly one type of gummy bear, but just kind of like if your bag of gummy bears melted together and you just were chewing on like this big glob. That's what I get from Mood Ring. I really love it. It's a good one. I've been wearing it quite a bit. Next up, we have La Vie est Belle Soleil Crystal, I think, or Crystal Soleil, one of that order. This one is nice. Like, you get the La Vie est Belle, but you get the coconut in there, so you have the patchouli and the coconut. But if I was going to do a patchouli and a coconut, I would do Ice Star over this one. I think this one's okay, but this one is like, ooh, really good. But yeah, it's a good one. I like it as well. Okay, next one, I'm trying to use up my sample, so I'm going to show you this. This is Oscar de la Renta Bella Tropical. And that's what the bottle looks like, but we're going to use my little sample that I got from Macy's. Because why not? So I have that guy. I don't love this one. I got a really good deal on this one, and it's part of the collection of all of my Bellas that I have. I think the first couple are still my favorites, and I could live without the rest of them. I don't know. It's okay. It has a lot of florals in it, kind of tropical feel, but it's just not as good as the other tropicals that I've been talking about in terms of tropical florals. So it's just kind of mid. Then we have an oldie. This is Versace Bright Crystal Absolute, and this is like a raspberry and just refreshing type of a scent. I remember I bought this and they said, oh, it's limited edition. No, it's never been limited edition. I mean, it could have been, but it's starting to smell a little more alcoholic. But it's still pretty. I get that raspberry in there really prominently, but it's a well-blended kind of perfume. So you get, it's fruity, but you also have some supporting florals in there. Then we have Truly Joyful by Kate Spade. I love this line. I'm really sad that they discontinued it. Truly Joyful is like the citrus one of them. Yeah, orange. You get like orange rind, you get orange juice in there. There's some depth to it, so there's something kind of dry grounding it. But it's, if you want to smell like an orange rind, this is a great one for that. Then we went a little crazy, and I brought out Samba. I was going to Sarah McLachlan, so I was like, what's a 90s fragrance? And I thought Samba would be a great 90s fragrance. It fell flat for me though. It's kind of powdery, like a dusty kind of floral. Yeah, not my favorite. I didn't pay very much for this at all, but it was more the nostalgia. I remember seeing this as a kid and always like coveting it. So when I found it, I was like, oh, I'm going to get it. But it's definitely like that powdery kind of like Love's Baby Soft, but a little bit more elevated. It doesn't smell quite as baby powderish, but it still has that powderiness. Then we have one from JLo. This is JLo Glow, I think, or Jennifer Lopez Glow. I will put the real name on somewhere so that you can see it. And this was nice. I wasn't expecting this to be one that I really enjoyed because like I decluttered some of her other fragrances that I've had. But it's just a nice fruity. Has maybe some florals in there, but mostly kind of just like almost tropical floral, but not quite tropical. It doesn't really have like coconut, but there's something there that makes it smell summery. Then we have Tempting Paradise by Sofia Vergara. This is the only Sofia Vergara that I'm planning to keep. All the other ones have made it into my declutter pile of someday I will actually record and like upload and, you know, try to sell some of my fragrances, but that's a lot of work and I just haven't had time for that, as evidenced by like me trying to do this video right when I'm doing it. This one's nice and sweet. It's very, very sweet. It doesn't have some of those undertones of the other ones that I don't like. There's something in the DNA of some of the other ones that's too dark and I don't know. There's something that I don't like, but this one is just nice and light and fresh. Then we have Skylar Boardwalk Delight. This one I've worn quite a bit of. Like, honestly, have worn quite a bit of it. And this one is very long lasting. I remember smelling this all day and I was like, I'm so sick of smelling this one. It's supposed to smell like cotton candy. It doesn't. It has like a sickly sweetness to it, but like an airiness to it, which I think is like what is off-putting. It's almost there for me. And obviously I've worn it quite a bit, but it's one that I kind of like love hate. It's not one that I love, but when I'm wearing it, I'm like, oh yeah, this smells pretty good. But it's not one that I would repurchase at this point. Like maybe I'll fall back in love with it, but I don't know. There's just something a little off of it that I don't love. Then we have Trussardi Donna Pink Marina. And I remember wanting this because I saw Delicious Delights talk about it and I was like, ooh, that sounds so good. This is like a grapefruit, really refreshing, really like this is a definite summertime scent. But if you like light blue, I think this would be kind of a good parallel / jump up just a little bit. But it definitely has that grapefruit, so you have to like the grapefruit. Okay, we have the one that I dropped at the beginning of the video. This is Strawberry Letter from Phlur, and this is kind of your musky strawberry. So good. I really like this one. I know this had some mixed reviews, but it's kind of like an almost artificial strawberry, but like with some real strawberry mixed in, so maybe like some glazed strawberries or something. I really love it. And it's one that I'm very happy that I have. Okay, second to last one, we have Wild Daisy or Daisy Wild from Marc Jacobs. I love the bottle on this one. It's so different, so cool. I was trying to use some of my older scents, some of my newer scents, variety of price points. I like this one. It definitely smells kind of like the Daisy DNA, but there's a greenness to it. Not as sharp as the Ever So Fresh, which I didn't like. But it's not a love for me. It's I like it. And of course, biggest thing that I love about it is the bottle. But it's not one that I'm going to be like, oh, I need to go get all the flankers of it. Well, I'm going to get all the flankers of it if they do it, because we know me. But it's not one that I feel like I'm going to want to go through. Like Strawberry Letters, I feel like I probably will go through. Mood Ring, I feel like I'll probably go through. Some of the other ones, maybe. I don't want to go through this one because I know I can't get it again because it's so ridiculous on the secondary market. But yeah. And then finally, we're going to end with another one that's hard to find. This is Valentino, Donna, Born in Roma, Pink PP, or Double P. Just the name, awful. And this is what I'm wearing today, actually. And this is a beautiful scent. The bottle's beautiful. It has more depth to it than the Coral Fantasy. It's more sweet, a little bit more sickly sweet. But it has has a lot of vanilla in there, but it doesn't feel like overwhelmingly gourmand or overly sweet for the high heat. So that's what I'm wearing today. That's my 30th fragrance. That was a lot. Let me know if you have any of these perfumes, what your thoughts are on them, if any of them are on your wish list, or if you want more in-depth reviews of some of them. I know I was just kind of trying to get through them as fast as possible. Let me know down below. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I can't wait to talk to you next time.